Luka Doncic will be signing an extension with the Lakers at some point, while Luka will never leave LA, but Lamelo Ball could leave the Hornets. 3 teams that should trade for Lamelo Ball if and when he becomes available. Also, Joey Bosa release. I got 5 teams that should consider Joey Bosa. Lavar Ball talks about losing his foot. He talks for the first time. Won't want to miss that. All that more coming up next on another jam-packed episode of The Big Lead. What is up, and welcome to another episode of The Big Lead. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've been covering sports professionally for over a decade. 24/7 Sports, Bleach Report, Dodgers Nation, Locked On Rams. I do NFL radio for Westwood One. Got my guy J-Rob. We'll check with him in a little bit. If you're new to the channel, new to The Big Lead, this is the hottest sports stories in the world in less than an hour. Also topics you're not going to see on other shows too. So get your daily hot sports stories here. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Also, we want all your comments down below. But we've got a jam-packed show. More topics on topics today. As you can see, we added some to our menu bar. But we're going to start with Luka Doncic. The hottest story in the NBA is the Los Angeles Lakers. They continue to put together quality win after quality win. Luka Doncic is playing like that superstar Luka Doncic. A couple games, getting used to things, getting comfortable. Now you see him and he's skipping around, having 30-point, 15-assist games, looking like that MVP that everyone knows he is. Now, the big question for the Lakers is, though, will Luka Doncic sign a long-term deal with the Lakers? Will he finish his career with the Lakers? Because he did not decide to come to the Lakers. He was traded here. So I think it's important to remember that there is still a recruiting process going on, that the Lakers still need to prove to Luka that they are the franchise that he should commit to and that he should be a part of for his career. And we got a little update on that, and it comes from Shams Charania. Shams was on the Pat McAfee show, and the ESPN NBA Insider said, quote, "In talking to people around Luka Doncic over the last 72 hours, I was at that Lakers-Clippers game on Sunday. He had no intention of ever leaving Dallas. He had just bought a new home in Dallas. It went for a lofty price. He did not want to go anywhere. You think of a player coming from abroad, they're very committed. They're loyal, and that's how he viewed himself with the Mavericks. One team, one city, forever. And I think that's going to carry over to the Lakers. I think he's loving his time in LA. I think he's loving the Lakers. And you think about what the Lakers brand is, it's treating their stars like stars. It's Hollywood. It's making the star players bigger than life. And that's what we're going to see with Luka Doncic. So let's not forget, Luka Doncic was in line to get the offer of $345 million. That is what he was eligible for from the Mavericks had he not been traded. And we learned after the fact that the Mavericks apparently were not going to offer him that he wasn't going to sign that extension because he wasn't going to get that offer. So if that's the case, well, what is the next big move for Luka? How can he get a bag with this team, and what could the Lakers be looking at as far as securing his services in the long run? Well, August 2nd is a day that's going to be big for Lakers fans. On August 2nd, the Lakers and Luka Doncic, they can get together on a new contract. They can sign Luka to a 4-year, $229 million extension. And this is from Bobby Marks, who put out this plan how he can get even more money. He says to recoup the money lost when he was traded, Doncic would be better served financially to sign a 3-year, $165 million extension with a player option in 2027 and 2028. Doncic would then be eligible to sign a 5-year, $418 million contract in the 2028 offseason. So if anyone's worried about Luka's money, if anyone's worried about his bank account, he's going to be just fine. And there still is a path for him to maximize his earnings with the Lakers, and that is how you do it. You sign a 3-year, $165 million extension. You add that player option from the 2027-2028 season, then to get the 5-year, $418 million deal. And we've seen with this Lakers organization, they take care of their superstars. You give Kobe Bryant the big work past due deal that was criticized back a couple years ago. He gets a big bag. People didn't like it. But at the time, I think what it did is it sent a message to superstars around the league that, hey, this is not just your NBA retirement home, right? This is an organization you can come to. You can compete for championships. You can have success, and you can get paid. LeBron James didn't just come here as some retirement tour type of player. This is someone who came here, won a championship, and is now competing with another championship. The Lakers have 2 of the top 10 players in the league. And that's what you see with this Lakers team throughout their history, whether it's Wilt and Jerry West, Magic, Kareem, Kobe, Shaq, Kobe, Pau. Now it is LeBron and Luka. The formula for a championship is in place for the purple and gold. And I think one of the first big things for Luka is, does he want to play with LeBron? LeBron doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. He's continuing to look like a all-NBA caliber player, a top 5, 10 player at the age of 40, just eclipsed 50,000 points. So that's the first question. Does Luka want to play with LeBron? And by all indications, by everything you hear from Luka, the answer is yes. Here was Luka after LeBron hit 50K points, and he talks about what he's learned from playing with LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Watching him do this stuff at this age, it's just unbelievable. Like 50K points, I can't even explain how insane that is. And he might get to 70K, you never know. Nothing new, honestly. I mean, the way he works, the way he takes care of his body. That's why he's playing now at this level. So I don't think nothing new, but just overall being next to him and experience that situation is I would say a learning process for me.
So I don't think it's getting talked about enough because, yes, Luka is an established player, an all-NBA player, someone whose career trajectory is of an all-time great, a future first ballot Hall of Famer, but he hasn't played with someone like LeBron James. He's played with Kyrie, he's played with some talented guys, but it's so important to me what Luka can learn from LeBron in however long they're together, whether it be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, taking just the close things that LeBron does, taking care of his body, $1 million per season, the diet, the exercise, the conditioning, the recovery, just being around that and seeing what's required to have that level of sustained success is going to help Luka Doncic. Remember, this is hookah bong rip chich, right? This is Luka Doncic. This is someone who is drinking beers and doing hookahs and this and that. I'm not against that if the production's still there, and you can do that at 25 and 26. You can't do it at 30, 31, 32. It starts to happen. Those hangovers are very different when you're in your early to mid 30s to your 40s. So I think for Luka to be around LeBron James is so important, and the fact that he's embracing playing with him, they're a good fit together. I think that bodes well if you're a Lakers team that wants to sign him long term. And then there's the comfort factor. He had purchased a big house in Dallas, and a big house in Dallas is not the same price as a big house in Los Angeles, right? This is Bel Air and Beverly Hills, Manhattan Beach. Some of the most expensive homes on the planet are here. So if he's going to drop a big bag on an LA home, that will tell you that he's going to stay here long term. But here was Luka talking about how he's become increasingly more comfortable living in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, off court for me is not as important, but it's close, you know. If things are good off court, then you proceed to be great on court. You don't have things to think about. You know, I'm just getting to know the city. I gotta say, traffic's crazy, but other than that, it's amazing.
Man, I mean, the traffic is a thing because, yeah, a lot of people live here. A lot of people want to live here. How many people do you know that have moved to Southern California and have left? It just doesn't happen, okay? If you can afford living in Southern California, Yes, the traffic is bad. It's expensive, the taxes, but it's 75 degrees in January. You're by the beach. There's no better place to live if you're a celebrity than Los Angeles. Luka Doncic, he can go to a mall here if he wants, a restaurant here at night if he wants. He can exist in Los Angeles, and it can be normal. He can live a normal life here, right? As far as normal as it could for someone of his superstardom. If he's in Dallas, he just can't do that. Let's just be honest, right? So this is the land where superstars come to really coexist with other superstars. And it's not just athletes, it's actors and musicians. So look, I mean, if he wants to embrace that, this is the perfect place for him. And Sham also said, you think of a player coming from abroad, they're very committed, they're loyal. So that's the thing. It's the loyalty factor that he has with this team. And look, it does not hurt the fact that, look at this picture of LeBron James. I mean, this feels like a 2K fever dream, right? I mean, it doesn't feel like it's real, but we've already experienced it for over a month. So I think that Luka is 100% committed to being a Laker. He feels like a Laker. I think the first couple of games, he was going through a lot. I mean, you didn't see a lot of smiles. He's inefficient from beyond the arc, and now you're seeing the Luka Doncic that's skipping out there, that's smiling out there, that's having the Luka blackout moments where he's yelling and things like that. So there's that factor as well. And then we heard today there's a little bit of a rumor about Kevin Durant as a possible option for the Lakers. So we'll monitor that. But yeah, if you're an NBA fan that think that that's not real, I wouldn't laugh. I would definitely not laugh, because the Lakers are a franchise. They get what they want and they get who they want. But J-Rob, I mean, do you see Luka on any other team than the Los Angeles Lakers?
I really don't. I feel like he's going to be a Laker for the remainder of his career. Ultimately, I think this move, getting Luka Doncic, kind of solidified that, like, no matter what, regardless of draft picks, future stability, the Los Angeles Lakers are superstar heaven. You will always have a star in LA. And if I'm Luka, I'm really looking at the totality of this situation. I probably got 2 to 3 good years left for LeBron as this duo. And I'm going to be able to assume that Rob Pelinka, Jeanie Buss in that front office will have my co-star prepared so that when we transition from this bridge to LeBron, we'll go right into this next wave. And Luka Doncic is a player that, I mean, we watched him carry a team before in Dallas. Like, he is that level of player. So you get him a co-star in the future, I still think he'll be fine post-LeBron. And the reality is, D-Mac, if things are going good in LA, where else would you want to go? Exactly. Like, where do you want to leave to go? There's not a better option in terms of location than Los Angeles.
100%. Couldn't agree more. I mean, it's that franchise. I mean, to talk about the Boston Celtics, yeah, they have 18 banners, sure. A lot of those took place in a era where, like, I'm not going to hear to diminish what Bill Russell did, because he was fantastic and that Boston team accomplished a lot. But the point I'm trying to make is, yes, they have 18 banners, but who has the most finals appearances? It's the Lakers with 27. More than the Celtics with 24. The Lakers, if you have Luka intact, you are going to get another banner. And I think the LeBron James factor is really, really important in this too, because, I mean, the fact that they're able to both score, it's not like, oh, one is scoring tonight and the other's assisting tonight. It's no, both are scoring in the same games. Luka and LeBron were the first duo, other night, they're the first duo in Lakers history, to score 30 points in a game and have 5+ made threes in a game. So they're both scoring a high clip. They're combining for over 60 points per game. And you just look at the Lakers record. You look at the Lakers record and you look at his production since the All-Star break, and he's playing like an MVP. 27 points, 9 rebounds, 8.8 assists, 2.2 steals, a 56.7% true shooting percentage. They're 6-0. Lakers 6-0 since the All-Star break. They pulled off the biggest heist in recent memory in NBA history. Luka is going nowhere. He loves LA. But let's stay in the association and let's talk about producer Noel's favorite player of all time, a guy who'll tell you is better than Luka Doncic. That is Lamelo Ball. According to Hoops Hype's Michael Scotto, the case for Lamelo Ball stands as one of the issues that executives will pay close attention to amidst the wave of stars being traded recently. He writes, following the Luka Doncic trade, NBA executives around the league have expanded their horizons on which potential stars could be next to change teams. The availability of the Hornets guard Lamelo Ball is one of the Stars' several executives who spoke with Hoops Hype will be monitoring on the trade market this summer. So LaMelo Ball, without question, one of the most entertaining, electrifying players in the NBA. Popularity-wise, he sells sneakers, the Pumas, the jerseys, the Ball name. A lot of franchises could benefit from a jumpstart in just their fans by adding a LaMelo Ball. And look, let's be honest, he's fun, right? My whole thing is, I think people, look, there's like one team a year that wins the championship, and there's basically three franchises that have won most of the championships, right? The Lakers, the Bulls, the Celtics, the Warriors, right? Like, be entertaining. If you're not going to be great, be entertaining, right? I mean, we all want to build a championship contender. We all want to win a trophy at the end of the day, but there's only one team left standing, and I think LaMelo Ball kind of fits that. Yeah, it'd be cool to win a championship with LaMelo Ball, but also cool to have 41 home games a season with LaMelo Ball as the face of your franchise. Now, the knock on LaMelo is the durability. He's only played more than 51 games once in his career. He played 75 games in the 2021 and 2022 season. But I do think there's three teams that, if he becomes available, should be the first to call the Hornets. First team, I love him on the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are kind of in this little half pseudo type of rebuild after Jimmy Butler. You still have Tyler Hero. You still have Bam Adebayo. You still have Eric Spoelstra, the highest paid coach in the association. You have a Pat Riley that wants to win another championship before he retires. He is someone that knows how to put together a championship roster. And I love the fact that he brings passing, he brings scoring, and then from a defensive standpoint, you got Bam and you got Bam down low. So he's never had that like true interior threat for the course of a season. And I just love to see what he would look like with a little bit more structure. People joke that LaMelo has kind of taken the LA Fitness ball, the Chino Hills ball to the NBA, which he has successfully, to his credit, but a little structure with Eric Spoelstra, a little discipline with Pat Riley, I think you could even take him up a notch. Next team, I like the Orlando Magic. The Magic are a team that lots of young superstars. You got Banchero, you got Franz Wagner, you got guys that can catch and throw down lobs, guys that can make threes, and then from a defensive standpoint, the second best defensive rating in basketball. So you can kind of hide him a little bit on defense, and then you use him to jumpstart your offense. They have the third worst offensive rating in the NBA. So he helps your offense. Don't think it hurts their defense that much because the guys they have in place. Magic are a team that I think could pop with LaMelo. Last team is the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets could use... He feels kind of like Houston to me. There's something about LaMelo. Houston seems kind of cool. Jello's kind of hanging out in that region, right? I mean, I think LaMelo on the Rockets with their style of play would flourish. I mean, they got lob threats, they got shooters. You've got an offense where, I mean, Fred VanVleet is kind of towards the end of his career. You got Eason, you got Shepherd. I mean, there's some pieces right there, and I think that they'd be willing to part ways with some of those assets. But LaMelo Ball is someone that could really, really change the complexion of the summer for the NBA. Just because I just don't think that he has, even though he's had his moments, there's no doubt about that he can score at a high clip. But I think like it is the Hornets. The Hornets are, I mean, that's just a franchise that they have never had sustained success. The Jordan era there was pretty much unmitigated disaster. I mean, I think he's the GOAT on the court. I think he's the WOAT off the court, the worst of all time, really, when it comes to running an NBA franchise. So I got to keep 100 with that one. So I'm excited to see what LaMelo Ball would look like with more talent around him, a functional organization. Numbers wise, I mean, dude, he's good for 26. He's good for, 11.6 3-point attempts per game is crazy to me, by the way. But LaMelo Ball can help a lot of teams. J-Rob, of those teams, who do you like? Or is there another team that you'd rather see LaMelo Ball on?
If I am having my 2K fever dream, it is the Orlando Magic, because the youth the talent. I mean, you put Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Lamelo Ball. If that is your perimeter offense, you are really have something special for a decade in Orlando. You really putting yourself in contention in that conference. For LaMelo Ball, though, I just want him to be able to learn how to win. If you think about it, Doug, he hasn't played winning basketball since Chino Hills his freshman year when he was 5'7". And I think the issue with him is that he knows how to fill seats. He doesn't know how to win yet. And when you're on a disaster like the Charlotte Hornets, you're not going to find ways to learn how to win. Now, I have two other teams that I think make sense for him. The Clippers would be amazing for him because they would be able to kind of compete in terms of attendance. He has that cult-like following, and if you're Steve Ballmer and you want to fill up the seats in an arena and have a plan post Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, LaMelo Ball makes the most sense. Now, a team that I think he can go to and help win and change immediately, believe it or not, I think he'll be an upgrade in Milwaukee. If you put a backcourt with him, Dame, and Giannis and have Dame in more of like a two-guard off-ball role, I think it would actually work for all three stars involved. And when it comes to LaMelo Ball, I just think there's a maturity level he has to hit. You know, he knows he can entertain and be flashy, but I don't feel like he's had a coaching staff and really just DMAC veterans to just show him how to win at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think the Magic is the best fit. The other two teams, the Clippers and Milwaukee, I think they have factors that really could help move his game forward as well.
Yeah, I love that. Get him around a veteran, get him around a better organization that has a history of winning, and I think you're going to get the best version of LaMelo Ball. I do think he's kind of one of those guys you want to let the artist kind of cook. You don't want to mess with his creative process too much because he's someone that I feel like if you do, it's a risk. Like if you put too much structure and you lose that freedom, do you still get that same version of LaMelo that's so entertaining to watch? But at the end of the day, that's how you win this league. And I think at some point for even players like himself, they can put up numbers, you want to win. And as you point out, I mean, Chino Hills, they won. But switching gears, let's stay in the association, really. I mean, let's stay let's go back to the Lakers and let's talk about Bronny James. Bronny James, the most polarizing player in the league, believe it or not, a rookie, most polarizing player, and someone who is averaging through 18 games, 1.4 points per game, 0.4 rebounds, 0.4 assists, shooting 25.8%, 20% from beyond the arc, a 3.8 PER, but according to his head coach, JJ Redick, he is improving. The Lakers head coach said, I think he's had a really productive rookie season. He's gotten a lot better. We can see that. I think that the first time you go through that as a rookie, sometimes you have to go through it for 3 or 4 years as well. It's different to not play every night, and particularly for a second-round pick. It's very common for them to sort of go back and forth between an NBA roster and the G League and go on assignment. So good for Bronny James that his coach thinks that. And yes, the numbers I read you, they're not pretty numbers. They don't scream, okay, this guy's going to be a future role player or a future starter, anything like that. But if you look at his G League numbers, they're a lot better, and you've seen him improve. His averaging 21.9 points per game, 5.4 boards, 5.1 assists in 7 of his G League games. I think, too, it's some of the moments that we've seen for him at the NBA level. Against Utah, I mean, the career high 9 points. He had a nice little step back the other night off the glass, a little lay in there. My favorite thing, it makes me laugh every time. He gets MVP chance. You hear Bronny, MVP. I said, my thing is that the Bronny chance, the Bronny. I think that's the new We Won Tacos. Lakers fans know that when we chanted "We Won Tacos," that was keeping the team under 100 points, and that usually meant the game was in hand. The Lakers were winning comfortably. I think the Bronny, the MVP chants for Bronny is the new "We Won Tacos" chant. But look, I said before the season, one of my bold predictions, and I was half joking, was that Bronny James would retire from the NBA before LeBron James, and that's just because I didn't think very highly of the move, 55th pick, and someone gets a 4-year deal because of that. But seeing how LeBron James is playing, seeing what LeBron James does on the court, off the court, to your organization, I want to point out that every single organization every single team in the NBA, if you gave them the option of having LeBron James putting up the numbers that he's putting up right now at his age, and all you had to do was draft his son in the second round, they would take that every single time. So look, guess what? Yeah, guess what? That's how it works. I mean, yeah, Carmelo Anthony, we're not drafting your son because you're not LeBron James. There's only a very, very, very small list, a very short list of superstar players that you would do something like this for, and LeBron James is certainly the guy that you would. So if LeBron James was washed, if he was cooked, if he was putting up the numbers that we see, like Vince Carter late in his career, just because he's on the bench to stay in the league, or even, look, Russ had a really good game last night. I mean, he did 25 points on 50% shooting, but if he's averaging like 12 points per game, if he was doing that, no, you don't draft their kids. But when it's LeBron playing like a first-team All-NBAer in the later stages of his career, you absolutely do that. But what do you make of, JR, what do you think of, what's kind of your quick little assessment of where Bronny James is right now?
To me, it just seems like he's finally getting confident. He's averaging about 21, 5-5 in the G League. And if you watch the clips, it's just he doesn't seem hesitant to make a decision. And, you and I both have talked about this up here. I mean, confidence takes you a long way. A little delusion takes you a long way. And he has like the physical abilities. So it's like just putting it all together. I mean, again, he had a heart attack less than maybe 2 years ago. So looking at that to now, I mean, I've been impressed with the development that he's had so far. And at the end of the day, he was the 55th pick. Doug, he's a flyer. You're taking a flyer.
But he's got le genetics.
He got the le genetics.
He got the le genetics,
yes,
right?
Yes, he's
and
going to Wakanda every year for that vibranium.
And I think too, I mean, to JJ Redick's point, he has improved. He's been improving the G League, and he has improved at the NBA level. And I'll be the first to say that I was probably a little too hard on Bronny early on, right? I will take my L's on this show. Trust me, I will. It almost feels like LeBron took the PS5 away from him. He's like, yo, no PS5, no girls, get those rose petals off the bed. You're hooping, right? This is genetics, okay? And I think that you bring up a fantastic point, and that the confidence is happening because he's seeing success, because he's probably done things differently in his routine, in his training. I mean, we don't know exactly what he's done differently. And look, yeah, I mean, he's still probably a 60 rating in 2K and 9 points, but you have to take things as a whole. And how cool would this be? Imagine this. Imagine Bronny James gets a ring. Imagine Bronny James gets if Bronny James gets a ring before Russ, I'm gonna absolutely shed a tear. Okay, that's gonna break me. But he legit got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something like, I mean, look, stars are stars, man. Yeah. Like it's like we don't like what I love about stars. I mean, you got the industry plants, but really like we decide who the stars are.
Yeah.
Right. The people decide the topics. They decide who the stars are. He's a star. Like he is a star. Like whether you like it or love it, Bronny James is a star. Switching gears, though, let's go to the National Football League. The Chargers released Joey Bosa, and Bosa out of Ohio State. He was a third overall pick in 2016. He spent his entire career with the Bolts before he was released. 9 seasons already. Man, time is just flying by. 5 Pro Bowls. He was the 2016 Defensive Rookie of the Year. And now, for the first time in his career, he gets to test free agency. Now, the knock on Joey Bosa is that he has missed significant time throughout his career. He missed 23 games since the start of the 2022 season. He did play in 14 games in 2024. He had 5 sacks. So if he can stay healthy, he can help another team. Here's my list for Joey Bosa. And I'll tell you who helped me make this list. It was Bosa's mom. Because Cheryl Bosa, she put on her Instagram a picture of Joey and Nick Bosa and says, "Mama has ideas." So it'd be cool to see them on the 49ers. Back in June, Joey Bosa was actually asked if he would eventually team up with his brother. Speaking of linking up, look, LeBron can link with Bronny and Nick can link with Joey Bosa. And he said it'd be cool at some point. So kind of cool to see the Bosa brothers on the 49ers. Second team, the Lions. So the Lions, the offense was great with Ben Johnson last season. The defense, not as great, especially after Aiden Hutchinson went down with the injury in October that ended his season. They just don't have very many strong pass rushers outside of Joey Bosa. Hutchinson finished with 7.5 sacks for the team. No other Lion had more than 4. And then also Marcus Davenport is going to hit free agency. I like the Lions for Joey Bosa. The Bears. So the Bears, they got that. They pulled off the trade for Pro Bowler Joe Thuney from the Chiefs just Wednesday. So they're making moves. You got the deal done for Jonah Jackson to give Caleb Williams a little help on the offensive line. You got Montez Sweat. If you pair with Bosa, I mean, that'd be a nice duo right there. That'd be a formidable duo. And Chicago's trying to really change things very quickly. They're trying to have a really big-time offseason and trying to contend in that division. So credit to them. New coach, new players making moves. You had the #1 draft pick. You got Caleb Williams. The Bears, a couple pieces away from being, at the very least, interesting, at the very best, a sneaky playoff team that if guys take big steps in the right direction, who knows, could contend earlier than later. Couple more. The Saints. The Saints hired who? Defensive coordinator Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley, he was Joey Bosa's coach for the Chargers. Remember Brandon Staley would do the downward dog yoga poses before? That was weird, man. But anyways, there's a familiarity there. The Saints, they're going to need some pass rushing help. Chase Young, Peyton Turner, they're both hitting free agency. The Saints could be an option. The Panthers are interesting because the Panthers, they were the worst team defensively in the sport last season. They gave up the most yards, and they had just 32 sacks. Just 32 sacks for Carolina. That was tied for the third fewest in the NFL, so they need all the help they could get. Joey Bosa can help them. Last team I'll point out is the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are a team that need pass rushing help. 31 sacks. That was even less than the Panthers. Second fewest in the NFL. Judon had 5.5 sacks, but he might not even be back in Atlanta because he's hitting free agency. So don't have a ton of salary cap space. So that would be the biggest issue with getting a Bosa, but they need some dudes too. So I like all those teams. But let me go to my man, J-Rob. Who you like for Joey Bosa?
To be honest, I like the Philadelphia Eagles. If you can't...
Jacket? You an Eagles fan?
No, it's not even that. This is my thing.
That's midnight green. I know midnight green when I see it.
The reason why I got to go with the Eagles is just feel like Joey Bosa is trying to like dispel some narratives about him. You know, the injury proneness has been, that's really been his whole thing. It's never been about his ability to play. It's just been he cannot stay on the field. The Eagles rotate so many defensive linemen, D-Mac, that if I'm him, I want to go to a D-line where we're coming in waves. You know, where I'm fresh more times than I'm not. I don't have to play 45 to 60 snaps. And so the Eagles, that defensive system, I just think it would be good for not only his overall like physical health, but if he's trying to get one more contract before he calls it a career, I think that's the team that at least fit-wise could allow him to do that.
That's a great point because, I mean, he's 29. Even if he wanted to do some short-term with the Eagles, have that success and then get a better deal, kind of reestablish his market a little bit. So that's interesting too, but that's a fantastic point. The Eagles, they're just an absolute machine at this point. If they get a meeting with you, it'd be tough to turn that down. But I mean, you would rather be that guy. Like you'd rather be the guy that's, hey, when I play, I'm great, but I can't stay healthy, versus the guy that is always healthy and just kind of like a whatever player, right? And
then two, ultimately, he still has good football. I truly do. Same with like Deebo Samuel. I think an opportunity on another good football team, sometimes you just fresh air, you know what I'm saying? Just the grass could be greener on the other side.
But I love what you bring it up, though. He's got something to prove. He really does. And the injury-prone label, his brother, I mean, he's kind of mixed it up with fans. Didn't even say he threw some dude's beer like in a game. Like I like dudes who like don't take fans ish. You know what I mean? Like Jason Kelsey did, like when he threw the phone and stuff. So I dig that. Don't mess with these players, bro. Like don't, like ever, because I mean these are gladiators in real life. Like don't mess with these dudes. So I agree with you on that one. Now, let's stay in football, but college football. No one loves college football more than J-Rob and I. I mean, just straight up. And it's been too long without a college football topic. And today, the Oregon Ducks have reached a new deal with head coach Dan Lanning, and his average salary going up to $11 million. It probably includes like a $1 million Nike gift card to the Nike store in Beaverton, Oregon, or something like that. And 6 years through 2030, the buyout for him to leave is $20 million. So you look at where Oregon is, and Oregon is a program that they have a limited funds. They got the black card, man. They can spend as much as they want on players, and they're a team that is going to have to be dealt with in the NIL era, because the recruiting is just, you're talking top 5 classes, 5 stars after 5 stars. And Dan Lanning was not the very popular pick. He was a coordinator in Georgia for that national championship winning team, one of the best defenses we ever saw at the college level. And they go out there. They met with Chip Kelly, and there was some talk about bringing Chip Kelly back when he was at UCLA. I'm a UCLA guy, so I was begging for that. I was going to drive Chip to the airport myself because he's just awful. But the thing about Oregon has always been, can you keep head coaches? Can you keep head coaches? Because that has been something that Mario Cristobal, he was a guy that he was supposed to take them to the next level. A lot of success there. And then Miami, they offer him a ton of money, and he leaves for Miami and led to this. And then you look at even before that, what happened with Willie Taggart? He leaves for Florida State, and that was supposed to be the big move. So Oregon has had issues just keeping their coaches, but I think that now the difference is in the NIL era, you can keep coaches there because you can pay. So I think this is a great move for them. I don't like the fact, though, I was at the Rose Bowl. My mom's a Buckeye, so just full disclosure, repping the scarlet and gray a little bit. I don't like the fact that after the Rose Bowl, he's like, oh, Ohio State didn't have their best day against Michigan, and we didn't have our best day against Ohio State. It's like, come on, bro. We know what you're doing. That felt like a little bit of a sneak diss. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a little corny. Dan Lanning I like Dan Lanning as a coach, but he does have some moments where I'm a little you try to play. I do feel like sometimes he plays the honorable, humble coach, but then when those cameras are in his face, he does have those moments. Like, for example, when he asked the cameras to come in when they're playing for Colorado, and they're doing it for clicks and we're doing it for wins. I thought that was so disingenuous, because this is my thing, Doug. The coach decides what cameras come into the locker room for a halftime.
That felt weird.
It just felt staged.
Hey, Dan Lanning, you guys see our cleats, right?
Yeah.
We're all wearing Deion Sanders cleats. Okay. And you're trying to if I was a coach, that's the last thing I would do.
Yeah. I thought it was corny. I thought he was kind of playing into, the crowd. To me, that was definitely for a viral moment. And you can't tell me otherwise, because he knew all those ESPN cameras were in that locker room. My only thing about this, Doug, have your security with the coach. But is Oregon cursed? Because when are you ever going to get over the hump with all the resources, the talent, the money, the Nike deals, 5-star recruits? Doug, is Dan Lanning, does the $11 million a year going to get them over the hump? Because that's what it feels like. They're like a blue chip program that has no chips.
That's a great way to put it. I got a lot of close friends that are Oregon Ducks, right? So I'm going to kind of choose my words wisely here. But I think one of the very best ESPN college game day signs of all time is it has the Oregon logo, right? And it says 7,353 uniform combinations, 0 national championships. That is got to be the best one of the best college game day signs I've ever seen. And yeah, until they win a championship, they're an organization that they're a program that was kind of a second tier, third tier program for so many years. It was Washington. Washington was winning natties on the West Coast. SC is SC, a true blue blood program. Even a program like UCLA and Stanford. They were ahead of Oregon, but hey, money changes everything. And just so happens that Phil Knight went to that school, and then you get the Oregon exclusives, the Jordans. The gear's off the charts. It's so clean. They're all these holy grail pairs, and give them credit. Marketing can change everything too. So the jerseys, the marketing, but are they cursed? Until they win a championship, you have to say that they're the have-nots. Hey, man, UCLA, we celebrate our 1954 national championship all the time. At least we got one. At least we got one. Now, I'm going to give you my top 5 head coaches in college football, and I want you to react to my list and see who, if you would change about if I missed out everyone. Okay. 5, I got Dabo. Okay. And this is a 2-time national championship winning head coach for Clemson. He had Clemson as the hottest program in the country. Deshaun Watson, game-winning throw in the national championship. 2 natties. He hasn't embraced NIL as much as some of the other big time programs. They've kind of gone down a peg in the last couple of seasons, but I still have him as number 5 because if you take him out of Clemson, Clemson goes back in like the Virginia Techs and just kind of the middle of the pack type program. So 100%. He's number 5. Number 4, I'll give it to Dan Lanning. Just because the recruiting has been so good, the defense has been so. I mean, let's not forget, this is a team that is going to be a perennial playoff contender. I think it's kind of more me banking on his future because he's so young than kind of what he's done. I'm maybe a little high there, but I have him number 4. 3, I have Steve Sarkisian. Steve Sarkisian has that Texas program rolling. We just talked about the NFL Combine, all that talent in Texas. I don't know why he decided to do that pitch against Ohio State on 2nd and goal from the 1. You had Caleb Downs going there, making that play. Latham Ransom blowing that play up. And then a couple plays there was Jack Sawyer running it back. Just, dude, if you can't get 1 yard, you don't deserve to win anything. Give it to your dude 4 times, see what happens. But
literally,
I think he kind of outthinks himself. He's like the smartest guy in the room type mentality. But hey, I doubted Steve Sarkisian in Texas. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. 2, I've got our guy Ryan Day. Ryan Day at 2. He gave up play calling to Chip Kelly. But also was heavily involved. And I just think he's taken on that CEO type. He's got Ohio State with the national championship. He just has to beat Michigan at this point. He himself got a massive, massive raise. But Ryan Day could get NFL jobs right now.
Yeah.
He could get 5 or 6 NFL jobs if he wanted to go that route. He said it himself that, hey, when my when my kids graduate, I'll probably consider the NFL. Right now, I got Ryan Day. Number 1, I still got to give to Kirby Smart because it's the SEC and it just means more, as they say. No, but Kirby Smart, 2-time national championship winning head coach. He's got the juice. Georgia has really taken what Alabama kind of used to be as that perennial program that is in the national championship hunt every single year. If Ryan Day gets another national championship, though, I'm leapfrogging him over Kirby Smart. But I thought about Kellen DeBoer possibly. I mean, Dillingham, I think maybe in the future. But what do you think? Who'd you change out?
So actually, you said my name. That's my guy. I mean, the way we talk about Sean McVay being the wonder kid of the NFL, Kenny Dillingham is the wonder kid of college football. And so I think that number 5 with Dabo Swinney, I think I'd probably switch him for Kenny Dillingham because Dabo
that's a hot take.
That's a hot take. And
I like it, though.
This is respect to Dabo. It's really more to me attributing that this is me projecting what I think Kenny Dillingham is going to be for that program. I think he's all in. I think his ability to recruit. And to be honest, Doug, I love the way his players talked in their press conferences. The quarterback
I like his crazy eyes.
Yeah, he instills that into his players.
Yes.
Like, they are. Look,
you played Division I college football. Like, I mean, God honest question. Like, players are reflections of their head coaches.
110%. Bob Diaco put a battery into our back at UConn, win, lose, or draw, that we really, I believed in him. Like when he coached Manti Te'o, then came to UConn, that was a part of his first recruiting class, I believed in what he was selling. And regardless of the result of every game, Doug, whether we had a 7-win season or a 3-win season, the years that he was at UConn, I believed in what this guy's plan was. And I feel like at Arizona State, it's the same thing. Now, there's one name that's a wild card that I would throw into your mix that I think could also surpass a Dan Lanning or a Dabo Swinney. Kirk Cincinnati at Indiana, all he does is win.
Should I Google him?
Google him.
Remember? He's like, Google me.
Google him, because all he does is win. And at first, we gave Indiana a lot of flack for their strength of schedule. Then we look back at it. The Big Ten was by far the best conference in football, and it wasn't close last season. I think his ability to win in that conference at Indiana, I think it says a lot about him. And then my honorable mention in all this is Marcus Freeman. And the only reason he's my honorable mention because they don't play in a conference, DMAC, and I can't get behind it because the way college football is aligning, I'm really curious to see how they're going to have a competitive schedule when the SEC and Big Ten are not going to schedule them and waste their time because they have to play 9 conference games.
I love that you brought that up because he certainly is right in that mix of maybe not top 5, but he took Notre Dame to a national championship game. And that first drive, Riley Leonard, I was sweating bullets, man. I was like, what the hell did they figure out? And then even late in the game, they cut it to 8 points before Jeremiah Smith made that catch to essentially seal the game. I mean, it looked like Marcus Freeman without, I mean, look, ND recruits at a top 10 level, but they can't get every single athlete, every single playmaker. I mean, geographically where they're at. I mean, they talk about their academic standards, which I'm always like, roll my eyes. I'm Cardale Jones, man. I came here. I came here to play football, man. Yeah, exactly. I didn't come here to play school. Right. All right? I don't care what people say, right? But I will say the fact that he takes Notre Dame, they go toe-to-toe with Ohio State, and if you had to, there's kind of like the guys that have what they've done and what they've earned, and like the ones that you would buy stock in their future. I mean, Marcus Freeman just kind of just looks like, I mean, he's on the screen, my wife, I'm like, chill. You know, like it's like he's like one of those guys. Kansas coach is interesting too. You know, Lance Leipold and Lane Kiffin's another name kind of in that mix. But pretty much think Mike Norvell's the one that kind of stock has gone down. Yeah, unfortunately, bad. But pretty
Cristobal too. We could give
Cristobal kind of went down, and then I think the guy that you didn't mention, I'm absolutely shocked. No Deion Sanders.
You know why?
He's like his own class. It's weird.
The reason why I didn't, because he's probably the best recruiter. He might be like top 5 recruiting at coaching. The only reason I didn't mention him is because I don't know if he's the best coach in his conference yet because of Kenny Dillingham. So I'll give him one more year, but he's on my top 10. To me, he's not top 10 though.
To me, he's like he's not like a head coach. He's not a former player. He's just Deion.
He's an entity.
Like he's Coach Prime. Like he's like, and I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the truth of the matter is, if Deion wanted to call up any program, like, okay, Florida State job, fire Norvell. Let me take over. Right? Like they'd give him the job. You know, and he'd have more talent and have a better chance to win.
I just want to throw this out there before we move on. Doug, if the Colorado Buffaloes mess around and win the Big 12, he'll be at Florida State.
I'm already done with the Deion Colorado thing. I'm already done with it. Because the Sanderses are gone, Travis Hunter's gone. I'm like, hey, I'm over it. Like I'm ready to like, hey, just go somewhere, like go back Jackson State. You know what I mean? Like I'm so over him in Colorado already. Like, hey, you know, it just does not feel the same, man.
I agree.
But switching gears. Got to talk about LeVar Ball. LeVar Ball, who is just a national treasure. Yes. And he unfortunately recently lost his foot. And we never knew or found out what the exact reason was, but he did address the situation. And it was in typical LeVar Ball fashion. Here's LeVar Ball talking about losing his foot.
Don't hurt me, my foot, oh Lord.
There he goes, LeVar Ball, man. I mean, look, I've seen people out there saying things like, oh, the Big Baller brand shoes, it gave Lonzo ankle injuries. He lost his foot because of Big Baller brand shoes. And he always says he's never lost. Oh, he's lost his foot, things like that. No. Look, LeVar Ball, he's priceless. He's a legend. I mean, a great dad. And here's my theory. My theory on LeVar Ball and the foot. I think that it wasn't diabetes. He didn't get in an accident. There was no health issue. I think he sacrificed his foot so Jello could be a rap superstar. I think he sacrificed his foot for Jello's rap career. And I just think that's great that he has a smile on his face. And now, I think now Michael Jordan might actually have a chance to beat him in one-on-one. Before he couldn't, but now with 1 foot, it might be a little more fair.
Yeah, MJ definitely has a chance now. That was his foot was his pound of flesh, and for Jello, I thought my favorite video that he put out.
Can you please? How do you say it?
Can you please? Oh wait, they might get us. But I'd probably say the one thing I do love is really his approach to it. You know, because there's a lot of people who have gone through this situation, but he smiled through the whole thing. And I thought my favorite video that he put out outside the one we just watched, well, he recorded a video and said, "Look, my foot grew back," and then showed his other foot, and he just
he's like Wolverine or something. He's like, I can grow it back if I wanted to, right?
My foot back already.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
He's a fool, man, and honestly, like he deserves everything that he's gone about. I mean, like I love the fact that like. You know, you got like, you know, NBA players, like dudes, like, you know, it can be like too cool for school and things like that. Like, they're very open. Hey, I love my dad.
Yeah.
Like, my dad's the reason why I'm here. I mean, Jello has a line saying something about his dad in Tweaking. He makes sure I get farther or whatever, and this and that. So I think it's really cool. They've all kind of shown him his love. He's like, the sports world would not be the sports world
without him,
without LeVar Ball, and I hope that he kind of gets more heavily in the mix than he's been.
Yeah.
So we know that we don't even need to wish him well. He doesn't need that or want that.
Yeah.
He's cool. Like, he's totally fine.
And the one thing too that people don't give him credit for is, as much as he was so big while they were in high school and kids, when they got to the pros, he's not courtside every single game. He's not in the way every game. He's not arguing with referees or berating coaches. The only coach he had a problem with was Luke Walton. That is the only coach he had a problem with. And honestly, to his credit, it was a disaster. So I'll give it to him in that regard. But ultimately, I think the way he's carried himself, raised his boys, I mean, he can do no wrong in most people's eyes. Like, I think
Never lost.
I
love LeVar. I think there's two types of people. There's people that love LeVar Ball or hate LeVar Ball.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's kind of like a good thing as far as like how out there he is.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, LeVar, we wish you well, and we want more LeVar Ball. But Cope Moore, this was pretty cool yesterday at the Nuggets game. A fan from Korea goes all the way out to Denver to cheer on his favorite player, Russell Westbrook. And after the game, the post-game show host was talking to him and saying, "No, you got this fan over there." And Russ goes over there, signs the jersey, gives him the autograph. Russ's fan is just incredulous out there. And he goes out there and he talks about how grateful he was to just be able to inspire people globally. So you'll never get me to hate Russ. Russell Westbrook, I got a chance to meet him a couple different times. I actually went to a Barnes & Noble book signing for Russ and got 2 books signed from Russell Westbrook, his fashion books. And look, he's just got this like cult fan base, this core following. There's me and your boy Russ right there. Shout out to Russell Westbrook, the UCLA Bruin. And like, I think the cool thing about Russ is, like, first of all, that fan, was he a fan of the Rockets and the Lakers? And I mean, he probably has a pretty big jersey collection. So thought that was pretty cool. But now we got Kai Cenat. So Kai Cenat, I mean, talk about blowing up. I mean, commercials, the biggest, I mean, is he the biggest streamer in the world?
Him and Speed.
I mean, Kai Cenat was on First Take, and he did not disappoint. He went toe-to-toe with Stephen A. Smith. Here was Kai Cenat giving Stephen A. all he could handle on ESPN's First Take.
You when it comes to LeBron James, you start hating. That's how I feel. Because I feel like you more of an older generation type of dude. You like Michael Jordan, cool. But listen, every time when there's a debate going on with you and with Michael Jordan and LeBron James, you always got something to say about LBJ. And I'm here to say, bro, LeBron's better than Jordan. I said it. I said it, bro. I said it, bro.
Man, something wrong with you. Something wrong with you right now.
Bro,
First of all,
Steven,
don't you even
level
think
that
about it.
Performing.
Don't you even think about coming on this show with that guy. Don't you do it.
Michael Jordan ain't never had 50,000 points. Okay, let's talk about that real quick, okay?
He ain't played 25 years.
James is 40 years old, and he's performing better than half of the people in the league right now. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Do you understand the greatness that's going on right now?
Hold on. This is the problem with the young whippersnappers like yourself. This is the problem, okay?
He's on there calling him gang. I thought that was awesome. First, I want to say is, like, I've been on YouTube and watched, flipping through my channels. I'm like, Kai Cenat's on a generational press run right now. Like, is he just randomly? He's going to be on this show. I mean, he's just showing up every single show. He's on ESPN. I honestly, like, Kai Cenat. Like, I don't watch his stream, but I see all of his clips. I watch some YouTube stuff. I love the chair. You know, the chair, it's all duct tape. And just, I don't know, man. The dude's energy is just crazy. And he was kind of like giving Stephen A. kind of a taste of his own medicine. Like, you want to have a scream off? Let's do this. Like, he did not know anything about Jordan's run. He just like, LeBron. The dude said that Leandro Barbosa is his favorite player. So, hey, look, I'm here. I'm here for the Kai Cenat madness. Like, give him a spot on First Take.
Yeah, give him a spot on First Take. I mean, I don't know if they could pay him that 5-year, $100 million contract they just gave Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, talking about that. I mean, Stephen A.
Oh, my goodness.
But I mean, how much does Kai Cenat make a year, dude? Like,
probably $100 million plus.
I mean,
it's absurd how much money he probably makes per stream. This is not counting his split from Twitch. This is not counting sponsorships, events, commercials, movies. I mean, he gets probably paid to go to All-Star Weekend and the Pro Bowl. Like, he's. I mean, to me, him and Speed might just. We need to start putting them, like, when Black History Month comes around next year. We need to put them somewhere.
I thought Speed on CBS.
Yeah,
like doing bad. The game has changed. The game has changed. I mean, we're on YouTube, and the radio's a little different these days, and it's an evolving world of entertainment. And yeah, I like these dudes. I liked both of them when they're on Shannon Sharp show. Mm-hmm. And my favorite thing with Kai Cenat is when he listens to things for the first time, and you can kind of see him like thinking about it and stuff like that. And yeah, like he's killing it. He's killing. Who's bigger, him or Speed? I like when Speed, Speed. Do you say when Speed got like a subscriber count, just like jumped in the camera and shit? Like,
I'd say, okay, I'll say this. On Twitch, Kai is bigger than Speed on Twitch, but Speed might be bigger globally because he can go to any country on the planet and they know who he is. Yeah. And it's funny because his proximity to soccer or football for our international viewers,
who are men, by the way, real men.
They ultimately, I think, because of that and the sport being so global, I think that's why they gravitate towards him. You know what I'm saying? And Peru made him the mayor and signed a national document and made him the mayor of Peru. Peru does not even have a mayor. Countries don't have mayors. I
love it. You know what I love the most? I love disruptors.
Yeah.
They're both disruptors.
Easily.
Like there's corporations like, how can we get our hands on these guys and have what they do make us money?
Yeah.
They're like, no, man, we're gonna get our money our way, and it's gonna be directly through us. So I love the disruptors, and I need to see Kai Cenat run it back. But Leandro Barbosa's got to be like, what the? He better send him an autographed jersey like Russ gave that fan. Leandro Barbosa needs to do that. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Big Lead. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, drop all your comments down below. Also, do me a big favor, find us on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts for the audio form of the show. That's going to do it. And until next time, we're out.